Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Neumann Update. I'm Alexis Lomax. On our last episode of the Neumann Update, we sat down with Jerry Sullivan from Aston, PA, who shared her story about her teenage son, Eddie, and his near-death experience due to vaping. Since the airing of our interview with Sullivan, 12 deaths have been reported. The Indian government announced that they will be banning electronic cigarette products immediately, while New York, Michigan, Rhode Island plan to ban the sale of e-cigarettes. Massachusetts on Tuesday issued a public health emergency and issued an emergency 4-month ban on all vape products. Sullivan has been interviewed by Good Morning America, ABC News Australia, where it is illegal to buy vaping products that contain nicotine. Sullivan has also been interviewed by BBC, The Wall Street Journal, was featured in a video by Nemours AI, DuPont Hospital, and other media outlets since our story ran. Yesterday, the CDC updated its website with the latest numbers surrounding the vaping crisis. As of 5 o'clock on September 24th, there has been 805 cases of lung injury reported from 46 states and 1 U.S. territory. 12 deaths have been confirmed in 10 states. 72 of the cases were male, while 67% involved 18 to 34-year-olds. 16% of the reported cases involved children under the age of 18. Mary has been using the hashtag #SayNoToVaping, put down the vapes, and still talking. Talking about her son's story got the attention of criminal investigation team of the Food and Drug Administration. According to Facebook posts and messages that were exchanged with Jerry, the FDA is said to be in the process of tracking down what vape products Eddie purchased and where he purchased them, and then they will backtrack from there to see where the store's supply came from and so on. Sullivan was encouraged to contact the CDC and PA Department of Health to give details about Eddie's case, and that due to HIPAA laws, specifics of his case are not known unless voluntarily given. The worldwide coverage of the vaping crisis has rapidly intensified, resulting in the resignation of Juul CEO Kevin Burns on Wednesday. While this seems like a step in the right direction, he will be replaced by a former chief growth officer for tobacco company Altria. Juul has also suspended all of its print, television, digital advertising, and its lobbying against its regulations. Intercom Communications has also placed a ban on ads related to vaping on more than 200 radio stations. Because our original story was centered around a local Aston family and their struggle with vaping products, the Neumann Update wanted to take a look at how vaping affects people on our campus and in the surrounding areas. This week, we conducted an online and in-person poll to learn more about how close to home the vaping crisis really is. We set up a Facebook and Instagram poll to learn how vaping affects our audiences. According to our poll, 72% of individuals polled stated that they had tried vaping, while 81% stated they know someone who vapes regularly. Marketing for electronic cigarettes suggests that they are a less addictive or even a less harmful alternative to cigarettes, and even aid people in getting off of tobacco products. The Neumann University Associate Professor of Communications and Digital Media, Dr. Joe Glass, told us about his switch from tobacco to vapes.
About vaping, just from doing a little online research, because for many years, like I mentioned in college and seminary, I think I smoked a pipe and then cigarettes, and then I was off everything for a number of years, and then went back to cigars. I'd sort of reward myself at the end of a work week and have a cigar on a Friday night. But with my sort of addictive personality, the Friday night cigar became a Friday and Saturday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and pretty soon you'd have a cigar every night or something. And so that's how things go with me.
Glass credits his son for looking for an alternative to cigarettes.
I forget how many years ago, my son, he was still in elementary school, and he said, Dad, that's bad for you. You shouldn't smoke those cigars. And so I thought, well, it's one thing when your child tells you. So I thought, well, I should look into something different.
Just as Glass's son asked him to quit smoking, our online poll showed that 51% of those polls have asked someone to stop vaping, while only 21% of those who asked stated their loved one did indeed quit vaping. Glass agreed with a common call from parents like Jerry Sullivan. There needs to be more regulation and research.
I do think more regulation is needed. Because now you can go to these mom and pop shops and they're making their own e-juice and nobody's really checking on them. We're not quite sure what's in them. Some of the marketing needs to be regulated. I don't think vaping should be marketed to children.
Very little information exists at the moment in regards to health benefits or detriments caused by using electronic cigarettes instead of tobacco-based products. The CDC's latest update states that they still do not have a specific cause of these lung injuries. The investigation has not identified any specific e-cigarette or vaping product that is linked to all cases. However, Delaware County District Attorney Kat Copeland says we don't need to wait for results to start addressing a problem.
So we as a society and as a system are so focused on evidence-based practices. And I get it. But when you're at the beginning of issues, you're not going to be able to show evidence-based practices. What you can do is let people know about what you do see, right? We can't speak to what we don't know. We can speak to what we do know. And what we do know are people are dying. What we do know are people getting sick. What we do know are people are in a coma. And that should affect our behavior.
While we wait for more research to become available, the CDC recommends that Americans consider refraining from the use of electronic cigarettes or vaping products. When asked about what Delaware County residents should do, DA Copeland suggested education is a great start.
The most important thing I believe that we can do is educate our children, educate our public, educate our parents about the dangers of vaping and how to also make sure they're aware of the various ways in which they can spot vaping products. It can be hidden in any manner. It could look like a large device that might be the shape of a cell phone with a little smoking end. It could look like a jump drive for a computer. It can literally take almost any form. And oftentimes, unfortunately, our children hide those kinds of activities from their parents. So their parents should be aware of what potentially vaping products look like.
Obviously, there will be much more developments to this story in the coming days and weeks. The Neumann Update will continue to monitor the vaping crisis and bring you the latest as we receive them. Football season is in full swing, and with that comes the moment we've all been anticipating. What teams are going to the Super Bowl? While it's too soon to tell what teams will be playing in the Super Bowl, we do know which two artists will be performing during Pepsi's Super Bowl halftime show in 2020. On Thursday, the NFL, Pepsi, and Roc Nation announced that J-Lo and Shakira will be the performers. Todd Kaplan, Pepsi's vice president of marketing, said, "These two remarkable artists are setting new precedent for what the show can become, and we're confident that they will have an incredible performance for the age." The Super Bowl is set to be on February 2nd, 2020 at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Now let's go over to Rhea for an update on what we can expect to see in terms of the weather.
Thanks, Lexi. Fall is here, but it sure won't feel like it this week. We are expecting warm and toasty temperatures to stick around throughout the weekend and continue into next week. But first, a cooler evening for tonight as temperatures drop to 61 degrees. We then shoot back up to 85 degrees tomorrow with partly cloudy skies, and a chance of a thunderstorm in the evening can be possible. Mostly sunny skies for our Sunday, leisure activities with a high of 83 degrees. Monday, partly cloudy and 77 degrees. A beautiful sunny Tuesday comes with a warm 83 degrees. Wednesday, we are back to those July-like temperatures with a hot 91 degrees. Thursday's partly cloudy skies during the morning will give way to occasional showers in the afternoon, and we are back to that high of 83 degrees. Lots and lots of summer-like warmth and sunshine to enjoy in this forecast. As we approach the first weekend of October, it will really start to feel like autumn with high temperatures only in the low 60s.
Thanks, Rhea. Our very own Daquan Ray met with our Associate Director of Student Engagement and Leadership. Let's take a look.
Since coming to Neumann in February, Drees Rivers has shown students a whole new meaning to the Neumann experience. I spoke with him about KPB, event planning, and why this is important for you. Take a look.
It's important on any college campus to offer students programming that is kind of for them, by them.
Drees Rivers is a man who oversees KPB as well as approves all events hosted by them.
Ideas for events come about from student feedback. They come about from us doing research of what other schools are doing kind of in our area, us doing research of what's actually happening in our area. We're very close to Philly, so if there's something cool that we want to attend in terms of a show, a sporting event, a concert, something of that nature, we would want to expose our students to. We would look into that, as well as some different traditions that we've always had here on campus.
He has played a big part in getting students involved and building on the student experience.
Take feedback from different students, and then we figure out where we want to go. We figure out what we want to do, what it's going to take to do that. So if we're going to need transportation for a different trip, are we going to need food for a particular event on campus? Do we want a specific venue that we want to use on campus that's convenient for the students? What will we do to hook the students into the experience so they'll stay and not just come and grab food? Do we need to have a DJ? Do we need to have music? Do we want to have games? So there's a lot of different components that we consider when planning each event.
He believes it's very beneficial to the campus to have an organization like Knight's Programming Board who plans all of these events for the students.
It's a governing body of students who are just interested in being leaders on campus to create different experiences outside of the classroom and different trips and those pieces there that would keep students engaged. And I can't do that because I'm older. So we need to make sure that we have the student input and you all are being good representatives of your fellow students to figure out, where you want to go, what you want to see on campus, what's exciting, and what's fun.
I even got a sneak peek of the events to come within the next week.
Some events that we have coming up soon. Main event is actually tonight. We are going to main event, which is going to be great. It's a trip. They're going to have bowling. They're going to have zip lining. They're going to have laser tag. We're also going to the Christiana Mall. So that'll be a cool time there. We have Wingo tomorrow, which is Saturday, which will be in the dining hall. So that's a twist between Buffalo Wild Wings as well as bingo. And we have our live at lunches, which are usually on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. That'll be next week. And we're also doing on Tuesday night our first restaurant takeover. So we're going to Maggiano's in the King of Prussia Mall for $5. And students will get to have a traditional Italian family style meal, which will be awesome with their fellow peers.
Do you want to know how your event ideas can be heard?
Get involved, give back. If you're happy with the events we have happening, that's great. But if you're not happy, offer feedback, but also be a part of the solution and get involved.
We can't wait to see what other exciting ideas Andres has up his sleeves. I'm Daquan Ray. Back to you at the studio.
With another week of classes completed and test scores starting to come in, we could all probably use some positivity. This past weekend, 3-year-old Lane Stevens turned a simple little lemonade stand into something so much more. When Lane's mom was getting ready for a 3-day yard sale, she thought it'd be fun and a learning opportunity to have her 3-year-old daughter have a lemonade stand. She thought it would be something simple that would keep her busy, as well as raise a little bit of money to donate to the local police department's K-9 unit. During the 3-day yard sale, Lane raised $700. When Police Chief Peter Howe stopped by, he took a picture of Lane and her lemonade stand and posted it to Facebook. His post drew a lot of attention to Lane's little lemonade stand. People from all over town came by to purchase lemonade and make a donation. As people would come to get their lemonade, Lane would run up to them and welcome them to their rummage sale and offer the police canines some puppy chow as well. Bringing things a little bit more local, Delaware County mother Melissa Ann Hopley recently published a book that is inspiring so many people. She has been turning hardships and heartbreaks into hope and bringing light into darkness. For years, Melissa struggled with feelings of worthlessness despite all of her athletic accomplishments. As she started to share her story with others, people started to realize how they have had some similar stories as well. After connecting with so many people and hearing their stories, Melissa decided to write a book about her journey as well as the journey of all those she connected with while sharing positive light and hope into how they have overcome what seemed impossible. Her book is called The People You Meet in Real Life, and it provides people with information about support groups like Minding Your Mind, reminding everyone that help is available for people who are struggling. Melissa's book is helping so many people. All of the proceeds of her book will go to the Stephen Patrick Scholarship that she has set up in honor of her cousin who died from an overdose. That is everything for this week's On a Positive Note. I'm Amanda DeCarlos. Have a great weekend and stay positive.
Thanks, Amanda. That's all we have for this week's update. I'm Alexis Lomax.